with Ride, and now they're somehow Call of Duty's in the dumpster.
They announced 2 more Tony Hawk games.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing like, what is it, It was like Tony Hawk 3 or something.
Yeah,
the third
that one
Tony
was
Hawk
good.
Pro Skater 2, so good. I spent hours.
I remember playing that on the
PS2?
PS1. No, whatever one was on.
It was probably like the
PS1.
first one or something.
Maybe the first one or something. I remember playing that then, and I still see games coming out now. I'm like, okay, this is no Mario, it's no Zelda, it's nothing like that. There's no possible way this can be good anymore.
I mean, bringing it back to the Infinity Ward Activision thing, I think it's just that you have to feel sorry for the people who work at Infinity Ward because they're sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. They can, I'm sure they put hours and hours and hours of hard work into making Modern Warfare 2 the great game that it is, and I'm sure there were those nights where they probably had to stay in for long hours, maybe not really getting any
studio
oh yeah,
sleep, probably sleeping in the studios just to get
crap
this game
like this.
out.
There's always going to be late night crap.
They were
no
passionate about it, and they were willing to put the time and effort into making that game great. And now that they want to, explore their, creative opportunities and everything, and follow where their great creative leaders are going, they want to go in that direction, but they also kind of want to get paid for all that hard work. So,
compensation.
Obviously,
it's a terrible situation.
None of this situation is going to help the industry, but I really feel like I'm missing some information in this story.
Well, there's always
I want to know what's going to happen if they don't Are you saying they're holding the royalties until they make the next Call of Duty?
It's very convoluted.
So what happens if they don't?
Until they finish the Modern Warfare series with Modern Warfare 3, basically what Activision.
Well, I mean,
said.
the main piece of information we're missing is
what really set off Activision.
That and what the contract stated. We need a printed out version of what the contract said,
well,
and then. Yeah.
The thing, I think the whole reason we don't know exact specifics is because it's going to become an issue with the whole court case.
Yeah.
Activision's case, and they are right to mention this, is that the Infinity Ward developers were supposed to do their job, and they were going to other publishers with their exclusive information.
I think they took it just
basically violating their contracts and everything.
I think the step was too far.
Although we technically don't know that. That's just what Activision says happened.
Yeah,
I know,
but who knows?
I mean, it's technically what Infinity Ward may have said happened.
We don't have specifics, which is why it's.
So, I mean, from our point
maybe
of view,
Activision is somewhat justified, but I think most of us here still sympathize with the people at Infinity Ward and Respawn.
So what do you think about the Bungie jumping in? And I think, I mentioned a lot of series.
Bungie jumping in?
I think Bungie's just kind of it's just being a little opportunistic. It's just taking advantage. Hey, there's this huge hole in Activision now.
But why would Bungie need that?
But they're doing a good thing. Well, that's also because they got rid of
Microsoft Studios has got them everything they've ever wanted.
Because they want to go multi-platform. They've already said this.
Yeah,
they want to branch out.
If they stray away from Halo, it's not a bad move.
Well, you got to think about it. I mean, Bungie's a great developer, but over the last, it's been about 10 years now, they've pretty much been forced to work on the Halo franchise. And now that 343 Industries and Microsoft are taking care of that, they want to look for, elsewhere, and they want to expand to multi-platform, maybe go in a new direction. And I mean, going to a new publisher to do that is not exactly a bad thing, but going to Activision, who now has a reputation for...
I don't know why you'd go there.
For restricted creative control.
Look, these guys aren't getting their royalties. Let's go to them!
The thing is, from Bungie's point of view, all they've done is created one franchise, and then they keep milking that franchise
Be careful there.
Milking maybe not the best term, but they keep creating more of that series.
Make great games.
That's what Activision wants their developers to do. So Bungie jumps in, they're pretty much going to be doing exactly what they've always done, and now they have a creative void to fill with the absence of Infinity.
But I think they're tired of that, and I think what Rans was probably about to mention, and I'm sorry if I'm cutting him off, is that the reason why they're going to Activision, at least, is that they're promising that they're going to give them exclusive ownership rights to their own IPs.
Apparently they've already signed the contract and everything with a 10-year deal, a 10-year agreement that they're going to make games for Activision every 2 years or something. I don't know the exact specifics.
2 years.
But I remember hearing about a 10-year agreement.
It's a 10-year agreement, and everything belongs to Bungie. The only thing that the Activision has the ability to do is to produce the game. So if anything goes wrong, Bungie can pull out.
That's the thing you have to realize. While it may seem that way in theory, contracts are often very shady, especially when you're dealing with a company like Activision that now has this reputation, I have this feeling that down the line there might be one little loophole where Activision tries to force Bungie into doing something they don't want, restricting their creative control, which is, I think was a really bad decision for Bungie. I think they should have gone to, this is not this specifically, but for example, the EA Partners program, they offer, which is what Respawn is basically formed off of, they're supporting developers and giving them much more freedom than I feel like a 10-year contract would really offer Bungie. I feel like that might narrow their focus, and ultimately I don't want them to get back into the same situation they had with Microsoft. I think they should be free to do what they want.
Also, too, like, EA kind of has, like, it's got this little leeway it can do, because since it's so big and it has so many companies that it produces for, it can allow its companies that work with it to be more creative, because if they're not producing a game all the time, one of their companies is.
Well, as long as they're actually making money.
Well, I think the same applies. EA and Activision Blizzard are both so humongous at this point that they both really could afford to do it.
I think it's going to be hard for Activision to kind of break Bungie, because Infinity Ward, not that it was so tiny, it was like, it kind of sprouted with Call of Duty, and then it was at the Activision, and then it was like a super awesome, like, Bungie is walking into this as a very successful developer.
Well, Bungie's also kind of already experienced.
They got their they got their stuff together. They know what they're about, and I don't experienced. I think that maybe Infinity Ward being kind of young, it was kind of taken advantage of by a big name like Activision. But I just think the trend of Activision games going in the toilet is like a really scary thought for Bungie.
We don't know
Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, now Call of Duty.
We don't know specifics, but you have to think like Activision must have given them one hell of a deal if they were able to sign a 10-year deal with Activision, especially given their recent reputation.
Well, even if they do and give them one hell of a deal, this is why I've never liked contracts. If you get a 200-page contract, you got 200 shades of gray in there now. There's no black and white lines in these contracts. So someone's going to they've got people on both sides trying to outsmart each other, exploit different loopholes, so dealing with a contract between two companies is like an ongoing battle of just lawyers trying to one-up each other.
So, we're pretty much all anti-Activision at this point.
I think also, when you look at Microsoft, I think Bungie was sort of put in a similar sort of situation, but not nearly as bad. Where I think the reason why games like ODST and Reach are coming out, I think Bungie sort of, their goal, especially with Halo 3, was to just finish sort of the franchise that they started. And they were sort of forced to, go along with the same sort of linear sort of, similar to the previous games. Whereas ODST, they started to branch off, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Reach. But I think a game like Halo Reach might not have even happened if is probably part of the severance deal with Microsoft. So I think they're just, at this point, they're tying up their loose ends with Microsoft, and now they're looking at Activision as a way to go multi-platform and really try and expand into a new direction that they haven't done in years.
It's going to freak me out the first time I see Bungie and then Activision when you boot up a game. Guys, imagine how weird
it's going to be weird the first time I see Bungie making something other than Halo.
It's just going to be weird to not see a Microsoft tag thrown in before or afterwards.
The thing I'm most nervous about is Infinity Ward, they got the name, so I've heard people countless times saying that they were gonna buy Modern Warfare 2 just because it was being made by Infinity Ward. They didn't buy Treyarch's version.
Fear too. There's
already protests against Activision now. If another developer's making Call of Duty,
what I'm saying is people buy Halo because it's Halo, not because it's made by Bungie.
Yeah.
Which I'm nervous because nobody really knew about Marathon Durandal.
That's part of the reason why I'm concerned about 343 Industries, because, I think that is sort of Microsoft's way of... granted, we haven't really seen too much of what they're actually going to be releasing yet, but, I think that's Microsoft's way of milking its most successful franchise, and when the uninformed consumer may not know that just because if it's Halo, if there's no Bungie on it, that there's a different sort of development team, who knows what's going to happen, but... I guess we're just going to have to wait to see on that front.
Well, that's the one kind of fear I have for Respawn now, is they no longer have their Infinity Ward title, which means, a less educated or less, knowing gamer, just like your average gamer who doesn't have any idea that this is going on, or just knows that there's something.
Yeah, but a